Ever wondered what life was really like for a Roman soldier on the freezing frontier of the empire? We often picture them as these disciplined, invincible warriors. But new research from a fort called Vindolanda, right next to Hadrian's Wall in England, paints a very different and frankly much grosser picture. It turns out one of their greatest enemies wasn't a barbarian warrior, but something much smaller and invisible: parasites. Archaeologists have been digging at Vindolanda for decades, unearthing incredible finds like wooden writing tablets that give us a peek into daily life. But this latest study went somewhere most people would undare to look: ancient Roman toilets and garbage dumps. By analyzing soil samples from ditches that served as the fort's sewage system, scientists have found definitive proof that these soldiers were crawling with intestinal worms. We're talking whipworms and roundworms, the kind that come from, well, contact with human waste. This isn't just a one-off discovery. The parasites were found in layers of sediment spanning over 100 years. From the late 1st to the late 2nd century AD, this means generations of soldiers living at Vindolanda were constantly sick. The infections were persistent, suggesting that whatever they were doing to manage their waste just wasn't working. It was a vicious cycle of reinfection. So what went wrong? The Romans are famous for their engineering, their aqueducts, their bathhouses, and their public latrines. They understood the importance of fresh water and getting rid of waste. At Vindolanda, they had elaborate systems. There were covered stone drains designed to channel wastewater and runoff away from the living quarters. They had communal toilets with running water to flush everything away. On paper, it all sounds very hygienic, very advanced for the time. But the evidence tells us there was a major flaw in the system. The study suggests that the problem wasn't the design itself, but the execution and maybe even the environment. The ditches and drains, even with running water, likely weren't flushed effectively enough to clear all the parasite eggs. These eggs can survive in soil and water for a very long time. So, the very systems designed to keep the fort clean might have actually become breeding grounds for disease. The water source itself could have been contaminated upstream, or wastewater could have seeped back into the wells and springs the soldiers drank from. Imagine the scene: you're a soldier from sunny Italy or Spain, suddenly posted to the cold, damp north of England. The food is different, the weather is miserable, and you're constantly getting sick to your stomach. The parasites would have caused chronic stomach pain, diarrhea, and malnutrition. This would have made the soldiers weak, anemic, and less effective in combat. It's a huge problem when your job is to defend the northernmost border of the Roman Empire. The researchers also found a different type of parasite, a specific kind of tapeworm that you get from eating undercooked or raw fish. This was a bit of a surprise. We know from letters found at Vindolanda that they were importing all sorts of luxury foods, like oysters, but this discovery points to a specific local delicacy: fish sauce or garum. It seems the garrison at Vindolanda was making its own version of this Roman staple, using local fish from the nearby rivers. Unfortunately, their preparation methods probably weren't killing off the tapeworm larvae. So, with every splash of their favorite condiment, they were potentially dosing themselves with another nasty parasite. This study gives us a fascinating, unfiltered look at the health and hygiene of the Roman army. It challenges the popular image of Roman superiority. For all their incredible engineering and organization, they still struggled with basic sanitation issues that had a massive impact on the soldiers' quality of life. They had the right ideas, but they didn't have the scientific knowledge we have today about germ theory and how diseases spread. They didn't know about the microscopic eggs lurking in their water and soil. The soldiers at Vindolanda were tough, no doubt about it. They endured harsh conditions, constant threats, and a homesickness we can only imagine. But this research reminds us that they were also human. They got sick, they suffered, and they faced daily battles that had nothing to do with swords and shields. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just about great battles and emperors. It's also about the everyday struggles of ordinary people, right down to the parasites in their guts. It makes their accomplishments even more impressive, knowing what they had to overcome. What do you think? Does this change how you see the Roman army? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the gross side of history, make sure to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.